Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. I am your host, Lance Fishel. We had a card last week. It was better than expected. Nothing important. It wasn't that, oh, you said the card was shitty, but it was great. There was a lot of finishes. And then we have a card this week that's probably about the same as last week's card. But the card in 2 weeks might be the worst card the UFC has ever put on. I think Brad compared it to a LFA undercard. Kaposa said it looked like the prelims of the McKee versus Pitbull fight. So that card in 2 weeks should be a fun one. But
I mean, anytime you can have Sam Alvey in a co-main event, you got to do it.
Sam Alvey, who he hasn't won in like 6 fights, right?
But he brings it, so he's a co-main event in 2021.
Doesn't even bring it.
No, he doesn't.
He's not one of the ladies.
Yeah, Sam Alvey versus some dude as a co-main event. After I saw that and I thought it was a joke, and I was like, oh, they just must have picked a bad co-main. I'm looking through the card and I was like, I don't even know if they picked bad.
I've never even heard of the dude that he's fighting either.
Like, it was. If you guys haven't seen that card, check it out. It is so. The main event is Hall versus Strickland, which I think that's a fun fight. I think that's a perfect fight for a main event in a fight night card. Like, that's fine. And then we go to Sam Alvey versus some dude.
Roman copy shop, right?
Yeah, versus Ani Yaya. Chick fight. That Laziz guy people thought was good, but isn't. Chick fight. One of the Dukakis brothers. That's great fight, obviously. Chris Gruetzemacher is fighting. Brian Barberino is fighting. I mean, this is the worst. Like, they could not have put together a worse card. They couldn't have. The whole card is basically curtain jerkers.
We'll have to talk about this once I get some time to, do my deep dive, my tape study on that card. But we're gonna have to set an over/under at people cut after that card.
Yeah, I saw.
I think it's going to be like
they have to fill these cards. They're not cutting anybody.
Well,
these are card fillers in 2021.
These are the people that
guys.
they
Malcolm Gordon.
Malcolm Gordon, yeah.
Hey, Malcolm Gordon is great. Canada pound for pound number 6 right now.
It's that easy.
Someone tweeted me and said this is basically like a loser walks card. This one in 2 weeks, and I got thinking. I was like, what if they actually did that? Like, what if it was like an actual, like, they tell every single person in that card, if you do not win, you are not in the UFC anymore.
They would also have to tell them, if you put on a shitty fight, you're not in the UFC anymore.
Let's say this. If you do not finish your opponent, you are cut from the UFC. How great would that card be? It wouldn't matter who's in that card.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Do it. That's what we need.
It's better than what they're doing right now.
Yeah, we need gimmick cards in MMA these days, because what they're doing just... I mean, these are the dudes that they cut the Overeems and JDSs and all those guys.
Yeah, pay these guys 20 and 20.
Like, one cut of those dudes paid for this entire card.
Yeah.
They all make 20 and 20. This is Overeem paid for this card.
It's definitely interesting the way it is, because, like, when you think of like an Overeem and JDS, it's like, yes, they've lost 4 in a row or whatever it is, but like that main event's Overeem off 4 straight losses, JDS off 5. It's a main event over these guys,
Yep.
So, all right. Well, if we go to last week's card, which I didn't think last week's card was that bad. Like, even on paper, like, it wasn't anything that was like crazy, but there was some good action fights and some good fights. So, starting off heavyweight division, we had Rodrigo Nascimento defeating Alan Baudot by knockout. It's actually a pretty funny fight. The French dude just beat the brakes off him in the first round and then was basically done fighting in the second round. It was
my Nascimento inside was just easy.
You got a little lucky.
Easy.
You got a little bit lucky on that one. I mean, he was like dead, like falling backwards. Like, the French dude actually looked pretty good, but he has no idea.
No ground game.
No. Well, it wasn't. He just started getting caught. I mean, I think he was gassed out. Like, he was getting caught in that second round early, and like it was probably a 10-8 first.
Shitty low-level heavyweights. If you survive, the other guy will probably gas.
You kind of get what you expect out of those. But Yeah, and they kept talking about how Nascimento went back to the drawing board and trained harder than ever and all this, and then the first 5 minutes he's just getting his shit kicked in by some random French dude. It was tremendous. And then we move Malcolm Gordon, which I think this moves him up to top 10 in Canadian pound for pound. Is that right?
That's what I said. Pound for pound number 6.
Yep, there you
All
go.
you need is one dub.
Yep.
He defeated Francisco Figueiredo, who's awful. I mean, this fight sucked. Like, bell to bell, this fight was as bad as it gets. Like, not much happened. Like, you got a guy who can't wrestling. Like, it was dreadful. But, I was happy for Gordon because he's horrible on the feet. Like, it was like he was blindfolded and just doing windmill shit. But I did respect the fact that he was on a 3-fight losing streak, knew he had to win this fight, and the whole fight he was just pushing, throwing like a wild man, and I'm okay with it. But it was dreadful.
You're not going to get much out of me on this card. I saw one fight.
That's not bad. Hopefully it wasn't Makhachev.
Fuck no.
Yeah, not good. All right, bantamweight division, Sergey Morozov defeated Khalid Taha. I actually kind of liked Taha in this one. I thought he'd be able to stay on the feet and maybe get a knockout. The knockout was like plus 280, and I thought that was the only way he would win. It might have been the only way he could win, but yeah, he got dominated here. Also, not overly exciting on this one. The beginning of this card, these two in a row were not good, but then it gets a little bit better. Then we had Amanda Lemos defeating that really weird chick. That chick's
The head
weird.
and arm chick. That's all she has. If
The monster rat chick.
yeah.
I love that she
Monster
got
rat,
knocked
head
out
and arm.
like instantly, and people were saying it was a bad stoppage. Like when she stood up, she had no idea where she was. Like she was completely out of it. And then there was the gif or whatever of her looking at the ref and like super pissed at him for stopping the fight.
But even in that, she still looks fucked up.
I think
like she might just look like that.
Yeah, I think she was recovered at that point. I think that was just kind of
That's how she looks.
That's
for her.
That's her look. Welterweight division, Daniel Rodriguez defeated Preston Parsons. This was a beating. This line was only, I think it was like minus 300 or something like that. I mean, this was Daniel Rodriguez versus Scrubs is always fun to watch because he has good hands. I actually like this guy's hands, and this guy had absolutely nothing for him.
I still can't believe he lost to Dalby. That is the one outlier there that is just does not make sense.
No, it doesn't. Because like he has like on the feet, like he looks good. Like he looks great on the feet. And then that was a weird one.
Also, not the greatest decision in that Dalby fight.
No, it was a bad decision.
No.
But still, you should smash Dalby.
You really should. Speaking of smash, this is my favorite bet in the card. Billy Quarantillo defeated Mugli by knockout, and he looked like he had that wall. I don't know why this fight was lined this way, and I know it's easy to be, hindsight 2020 guy, but like I was shocked all week at this line with Billy being plus 140 here. And Benitez is not really good at anything. He has some good leg kicks, but he's not very good. And Billy's great. Billy, he's aggressive the entire time. He has the gas tank to go with it. He's got better striking than expected. Like I always expect, like he's not a good striker, but he's so aggressive that it works. I think is the way. He's not technical. He doesn't have a lot of skill on the feet, but he's so aggressive and just pushes that it works. And his jiu-jitsu is really strong. His wrestling needs probably a little bit of work, but his back control is great. And yeah, he had just absolutely smashed him in this fight.
I had the one that decision. I saw. This is actually one that I watched. I had Go's decision. I was a little scared off. I mean, that Tucker win, I mean, he did get beat up pretty good, and we have seen some holes in his game. I mean, I love watching him fight. He's awesome to watch. I just expected him to win a decision or lose a close decision, and he ruined it. But I'll be happy to lose money if Billy Q's getting a W.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned a while ago, we kind of know like the book on Billy Q that if a dude is significantly stronger than him, he's going to be in trouble because, like you said, he doesn't have the wrestling to make up for that just physical disadvantage. But against some, Mexican dude who can't wrestle either and isn't a strong guy, he's going to look great in that fight. I know we talked about it earlier in the week that when the line was at like plus 170, we were pretty shocked by it. And this was one of the only bets that I hit. A little Billy Q round 3 action. So
There
I
you
will
go.
take it, and fuck you, Sean, with your goes the distance bet.
Yeah.
It's my only bet that I lost on Saturday. So
Yeah,
there
it
you
was,
go. So you're fine.
For this random card, I think we all did pretty well on it. We'll take it. Then we have middleweight division. We had the kickboxing phenom Rodolfo Vieira defeating Dustin Stolvis, and it was funny. I kept seeing people in the announcers a little bit. Towards the end, they switched, but they were like, "This is smart. He's saving his gas tank." And well, it's never smart for a guy with his skill set, knowing he's going to gas with his credentials with jiu-jitsu, to kickbox for 10 minutes. He got lucky, right? Like he had enough gas to get that finish, and Dustin made a mistake, but like. You do what you're good at. If you know you're going to gas in 5 minutes, don't drag it out and be in a kickboxing fight. If you know you have 5 minutes, make that 5 minutes count. Like when we see guys who gas out early, they change their whole style. It's like if you're an aggressive nut job, then be an aggressive nut job. Like don't change your style because of it. I did think his striking looked 100 times better, but it was a punching bag. Like if he does that versus most guys, it's not going to work.
We see it all the time. Guys, when they get a high-profile fight or they come off a loss and they want to like switch up their style that basically is their best way to win, let's throw that out and then see how we do. It's completely idiotic. Just use your tools and best way to win and try to win that way. Because if you've made it this far, it seems to be working. So why change it up?
The dog must have saw a cat. Yeah, guys do it all the time. It's frustrating. Like if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, use your jiu-jitsu. If you don't have a good gas tank, go balls to the wall. You're never gonna have a good gas tank. Like that's not gonna magically change. And being in a shitty kickboxing fight with most guys isn't gonna work.
Always Saeed bets.
Saeed bets? We always have Saeed bets. Yeah, we're always ready to roll with Saeed bets.
Aaron hit some bets. Yeah, Aaron hit some bets on the weekend.
He hit.
I don't know if he actually placed money on them, but he definitely has been hitting some on his
do Canadian dollars really count?
No, it's play money.
I mean, I have a board game under here. I can take all the money out and make some cans of bet.
Yeah,
good shit.
You should do that.
Jeremy Stevens got subbed in a minute, and I like that he initiated it. That was very Jeremy Stevens of him. I was shocked by that outcome, though. Not that Jeremy lost. I bet on Jeremy because I thought the line was too much. He hadn't been subbed in like a decade. That was a bit surprising to me.
That was a weird one, though. Like, I don't know how often that happens in this fight. I bet doesn't go to decision. I didn't really expect it to go this way. I just don't think Stevens is big enough at 55. I know the weight cut sucks to 45, but
I mean,
he's also
his takedown defense
and he's getting old.
He's old as shit. His takedown defense obviously struggles when he's not the strongest guy because he doesn't have a lot of skill there. But I don't know if Jeremy Stevens is washed because that fight didn't show me anything. Like he got taken down. He decided he was going to go for a Kimura from the bottom. Always really good for a guy that has no idea what he's doing on the ground. And then he gets subbed.
Just put him in fun stand-up fights.
Well, he called out Connor. He called out Connor today. He's like, this is the fight to make. I'm like, hey, Connor's leg snapped in half. This is going to be a bit. And you think Connor's going to come back to fight the who the fuck is this guy? Like, I don't. And it's funny. They were talking right in the walk-up, right when the fight first started, that Anik or one of the guys was like, I think Jeremy Stevens is going to be the first to 40. And it's like, if he loses tonight, that's 5 in a row. Like, is he going?
I know he's been fighting good guys, but still, that's not a great look.
No, I wish they would give these guys just if they bring Jeremy Stevens back for another one, they need to give him the worst fighter of all time who's never wrestled before in his life. Like, I wish they would do that. It's like, we want to watch Jeremy Stevens punch people in the face, so why don't you let us?
Yep.
Like, it's happened a few times in the past with they give the wash guys a couple people they can work. Like Gray Maynard, they gave a few fights of guys that weren't great after he was washed, and there was a few other ones. It's like, I don't know why we don't see that more often. Like, why is Steven? And I get the gatekeeper and you got to earn it, but like, does anyone know the guy that beat Jeremy Stevens' name the other day? Did he get the bump? Did he get the heathen bump? Like, what are we doing?
Is he the who the fuck is this guy that now?
Now he is. Yeah,
he's got that title.
He is.
Sad.
Women's bantamweight division, Misa Tate defeated Marianne Renault. Knockout. This was domination. I saw some people on Twitter like, I can't believe people are laying minus 140 on Misha. She hasn't fought in 5 years or whatever. I'm like, do you see who she's facing and how old? Renault's what, 44 and hasn't won a fight, and like she
is retiring.
Yeah,
it's like she's done,
and was already like a 500 fighter. Not just in the UFC, for her career.
And it was always like it's the perfect style for Misha. It's someone who doesn't know how to wrestle. Misha's always going to struggle if it's someone who she can't take down, right? That's why like Nunes would just absolutely pummel her because she wouldn't be able to take her down, or someone like that, right? But Renault's not stopping the takedown. Like, I loved Misha at minus 140. Like, people are like, oh, you don't bet this fight, but you bet Misha? What an idiot. I'm like, dude, there's value wherever you fucking see it. Like, that's just how it works.
There's value in
whoever bringing the spice.
There's always value in whoever wins.
Yes, Anik literally opens the fight and goes, she's still nursing.
Was she going to give her a little squirt? A little baseball squirt?
So after she says that, I think it was Bisping. It was Bisping and someone else. Maybe DC, was it? But the other two announcers, Anik says that, and they all just literally went silent, and no one said a word for like 5 seconds.
Just awkward as fuck.
That's like a first in UFC commentary history.
Just like, oh god, you say that, but
that was like the time when Anik was talking about how the dude couldn't see his kid and all that weird shit. And he's on some weird stuff in these fights lately.
It's funny, but with how weak this just shows how weak women's MMA is, right? Misha Tate's legit probably top 5 in the women's bantamweight division now.
Yeah, probably.
That's how weak it is. There's no one good.
Definitely top 10.
Oh, Renault was like 9.
Yeah.
And she's lost like 5 in a row and is retiring.
Yeah, like the women's division is so bad. It's like chicks that have lost like 4 in a row are ranked like 5th. Like it just doesn't.
They're one win away from a fucking title fight, man.
Juliana Pena,
exactly,
is fighting. She just lost to someone like 6 months ago. And she hadn't won in a couple years before that, and she's fighting for the belt.
She was injured or whatever, yeah.
Who did she lose to? She beat Sarah McMahon to earn her title shot. And she lost to someone right before that.
She got subbed by Durandamy.
Durandamy?
Subbed. Yes, they
subbed.
Yeah.
She's 2-2 in her last 4, and she's fighting Amanda Nunes.
She said that was the fight to make.
That's because it's nobody else. Literally no one else. Oh, it's so bad. So bad.
Yeah. And then we had main event. This told me nothing. Like, Makhachev beats Thiago Moises. Just yay. Like, what were we expecting anything else? Like, I don't want to hear how this guy is great or he would beat Dubronx and Poirier and all these guys. That was his best win last night. Or the other night. Thiago Moises, that's his best win. And then this guy, like, typical, he could call out anybody, right? If he wants to earn a title shot, call out Michael Chandler. Call out Justin Gaethje. Or Tony Ferguson. Yeah, that's the fight I want. I want Tony. It's like, dude, give me a break. Like, I'm sick of hearing about this guy. Like, if he says no one wants to fight him, he wants the top 5. Like, I want to see this guy fight Gregor. If he can out-wrestle Gregor and beat the shit out of him, fine. Believer.
That'd be a sick fight.
Yep.
Like, give him great. Is he going to ragdoll Gregor Gillespie? Is that a thing that can happen? I don't know. So I'd rather see that.
I mean, he even said that he didn't want to fight Dan Hooker. He was like, "Oh, you're like 3-3 in your last 6," and then calls out Tony.
Calls out Tony, yeah, who's 100 years old. In his last few fights, looked like he needed to be carried out in a stretcher as soon as he got in the octagon. But yeah, that's who he called out.
Wheeled out to the ring.
I'm just not a believer in this guy. Like, I have seen like the same people that are saying that Conor had an easy path to the title by beating basically every ranked fighter in the division. They're the ones that are saying Makhachev gets a title shot and he's done all this and stuff. It's just funny, like the narratives that get driven. Conor had an easy road. Everyone's ducking Makhachev. He should get Dubronx next. I'm like, what?
I'm not a complete hater. I think he has some tools, but until he beats anybody worth a damn,
so boring.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, you can. They're just trying to play up the Khabib thing. They
they're
aren't
not
that similar.
They're Russian and they like to lay on people and take naps.
Yeah.
That's I until I would say the later stages of Khabib's career, maybe the last 3 years, I loathed watching Khabib fight. It was the same thing.
He finally figured some shit out and actually smashed people instead of.
I don't know if it was figured stuff out. Is that some of these guys they don't think they need finishes, so they don't care. They're just like, I'm cool just getting a win. And Makhachev does get some subs here and there, but I mean, finishing Thiago Moises after 20 minutes of boring doesn't really do it for me.
Yeah, because I mean, this shouldn't be a 5-round fight. So in a 3-round fight, this went to decision.
Yeah, this should be like prelims of old UFC. Like Thiago Moises was just the main event. That's a thing that happened, but so was Irene Aldana.
True.
So
it's true.
Pick your poison. All right. Well, that'll do it for this last event. Hopefully, Makhachev gets someone a little bit better. At least think about someone that has some wrestling skill. That'd be interesting if he actually fought someone who could stop him. All right. So let's move on to this week's card, which is UFC on ESPN Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. The return of TJ. I love that all these hype commercials and everything are making TJ look like the victim. Like, have you noticed that, these commercials?
I can't believe they made out for 3 years or 2 years or whatever it was.
Like, they said the UFC was calling and my heart dropped. Like, that's like the thing you see. It's like, your dad's dead. It's like, you finally got popped for all those steroids you've been using. like it was like this Lifetime movie intro scene for this. And it's like, all right, whatever. And I've seen the pictures of TJ and he looks in shape, but he looks old as fuck. Like TJ looks really old.
At the interview, the media day today, How old is he?
Well, he's 35.
35, 36?
Yeah, I think he's 35, but there's as I know from experience, there's a big difference between 32 and 35.
Yeah.
Every year you go from underweight to 40, from 30 to 40 is a big jump. It's like 3 years every year in oldness.
Exponential.
And who knows what TJ's been doing these last few years? I'm sure he's going to the gym a little bit and a lot more recently, of course, but who knows what this guy was doing? He's off the juice. There's a lot of stuff here, but
we'll jump the EPO didn't help him. He said it hurt him. No benefit at all in any sort of activity that involves cardio. Definitely doesn't give you any advantage. No.
He was probably one of the biggest, most blatant of all the cheaters we've had in the UFC. All right, let's kick this thing off. Well, this actually breakdown should go pretty quick. There is quite a few female fights on this card, including the first two. Women's strawweight, Diana Belbita. Is that like a cheese?
Belbita cheese.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Versus Hannah
or
Goldy.
Breakfast biscuits.
I have nothing on this fight. I don't know if you guys have anything you would like to add.
They're combined 1 and 3 in the UFC if you count Contender Series. The one win the chick that she beat is 1 and 3 in her last 4. This is as low level as it gets. I will pick the dog and it seems like Velveeta Cheese is that currently.
This fight would probably be in the main card of next week's the card in 2 weeks.
Got to bring out the bangers to start the main card.
Ladies always bring it. Brad, I assume you have absolutely nothing to contribute on this.
Nothing positive. I did win a bet against Belbita in her last fight, the round 1 sub bet. I don't think that's going to happen here.
Who did she fight?
The Joju. The Anna Joju.
Joju.
Yeah, I looked up the records of all of the people that Hannah Goldy has beat, and literally none of them have won a fight after she's beaten them, except Jillian Robertson, who she beat in her first professional fight.
So she's a career changer, is what you're trying to say, Brad.
Yeah, she
changes people's careers.
Maybe you got it wrong, Brad. Maybe it's not that she's fighting bad competition, that she Frankie Edgared him. Remember Frankie Edgar back in the day? He'd fight someone, they'd never be the same. Maybe that's it.
I was going to say the John Jones effect. That might be what we're looking at here. Ooh, interesting.
She's a killer. She
My
is
goodness.
a killer. Yeah, I got nothing to add here. All right, Sajara Eubanks versus Elise Reed. I I got nothing. You, Sean?
I have no clue who this Elisa Reed is, but should Sijara Eubanks be minus 330, 350 against any soul on the planet?
Never.
I don't know.
No. I didn't know she was still in the UFC.
Yeah, she's not good. I have no idea about this chick. I probably am going to be blind. I'm going to blind take sprinkle on Reed, possibly. Just depends how degenerate I want to get. And possibly look at plus 3.5. Because if she's minus 350 or so, plus 3.5 should be close to even money or a little bit of juice. And all you need is Sijara Eubanks to do something as stupid and lose one round, and you cash your ticket.
Brad, you got anything?
No. Not even anything negative on this one. Just nothing.
Just nothingness.
Move it along.
You're not a Sarge fan?
No? Not as much as I should be.
Right, the card gets a little bit better here. Bantamweight division: Julio Arce versus Andre Ewell. I like Arce. He's fun. This is we're improving. Like this could be the co-main on the card in a few weeks. Easy. So this card's stacked. I mean, they got co-main events in the one of the first few fights. This is big. Sean?
Yeah, Arce is fun. He throws good strikes. He doesn't really get hit much. I think he's the better fighter here. I guess Arce's losses in the UFC aren't too terrible. I mean, Shaman Rice at that time was a lot better than Shaman Rice is now. And Dawadu's an okay loss. And it was a super close fight. So I've never thought Andre Ewell is good. He just isn't. He's so generic. Like, he's just like a D at like everything.
He does nothing well.
Yeah,
like if you said what is
at the most, yeah.
Even guys that are bad, you can usually pick out like one or two qualities. Like, I got nothing. He's below average in every facet of the game.
Yeah, so I'll probably parlay Arce.
I'm surprised MMA gambling Twitter doesn't love Ewell just because he's tall. That's like the only thing they look at in fights. They're like, oh man, he's so tall. Must be
tall
good.
guy defense.
Is he tall?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He's not short.
He's like 5'8". He's got long arms. He's got long arms.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's not
he's
tall.
got reach. He's got a 6'3" reach.
No, he's 5'11". He's 5'11". That's tall for this division.
He's tall.
Oh,
he's definitely
UFC
tall.
has it as 5'8". What the fuck?
I don't
Wikipedia obviously is smarter than the UFC. You see these cards they put together. Have you heard Dana talk?
Oh, genius.
Come on, Brad.
Yeah, I like Arce in this fight. I think there's a chance that he could just lose the first 2 rounds on volume alone, because the only thing Ewell is good at is that he's willing to throw punches, and sometimes Arce is not. But Ewell's also definitely gas, because he gasses in all of his fights. So Arce is going to pick up the 3rd round, so it's just whether you think he takes one of the first 2 or both of the first 2. I'm willing to lay minus 200 or whatever the price is right now on it, but I do think he's probably going to win. He's also dropping down the first time.
Arce?
Yeah.
That's bantamweight, yeah.
Yeah, it is a bantamweight. I like Arce here. I think, if he's dropping down for the first time, that's a bit of a worry. I like his hands. I think he's got pretty clean boxing. He is pretty aggressive, but not that hittable. Ewell, I think the only worry Brad kind of pointed out here is if Arce, especially first cut, is he trying to save some gas? Like, is he a little too tentative? Because Ewell is going to push forward. If there's one positive to say about Andre Ewell is he does move forward quite a bit and throws really weak shots and causes no damage. If that's your positive about him. But Arce is a fighter. Like, he's good, and I think he can finish this fight anywhere. If there is going to be a finish in this fight, it's definitely going to be Arce. He's decent on the ground. He could possibly wrap something up if he drops him or gets him down if there's some kind of weird scramble. But I think overall, this fight stays in the feet. Arce's got the better hands. He's more dangerous in the feet. I think it's about his aggressiveness. As long as he's aggressive, I think he wins this fight really easily. And I think at minus 200, I think we're getting a really good price. And if he does look good, I mean, he looked good at minus 145. if he does look good at minus 135, this guy could move up, decently fast because he's powerful and he's got great hands. So I think at minus 200 is worth it.
I like that you just gave betting lines for their weights.
I did?
Yeah, you said he looked good at minus 145, so he might look good at minus 135.
I'm tired already. It's been a long day.
I say round 3 plus 1,600. I might take a stab on that.
No, I don't like that. My order is wrong on this. My order is wrong on this Wikipedia.
It just changed.
It says Costa Yanez is next, so we can go ahead and cover that. We'll go out of order here. But that fight did get bumped to the main card. But this is my favorite fight on the entire card. Bantamweight division. Randy Costa versus Adrian Yanez. I know some people are complaining, it's too early, they're prospects. Well, fuck that. We get an amazing fight, which the UFC would have messed this up in the future anyway. So let me go ahead and get this fight now. That's kind of my thought process of this. So it's not like they're about to both fight for the belt. Why not let them bang? You, Sean?
Yeah, let them bang, and I think that's what's going to happen here. These guys both like to strike. Neither of them go for takedowns. This should be fun for however long it lasts. And if you're going to tell me that Randy Costa is going to be in basically a brawl, and he's, plus 200, he's like round 1 plus 500 or whatever it is, those are just ridiculous numbers for a guy that throws as much volume as he does and has just obscene power. I've hit on him before with TKO in round 1s. I'm diving back in. His TKO or round 1 TKO at Bet Online is like plus 800. That looks good to me. This guy knocks people out early. So I think this is going to be a brawl. So I'll take the guy that has a huge number next to his name in that sort of fight.
Brad?
Yeah, not a lot to add here. I know that people are really high on Yanez after his last couple performances. He's looked good, but he's looked good against guys who really don't belong in the UFC. And when he faced guys who were kind of decent before, he didn't look so great. Like, he's got a loss to Miles Johns and a couple other guys on his record who are decent fighters. But I'm interested to see here what happens because, as Sean said, Costa is a guy that just comes out and he has insane power especially for a bantamweight, and he puts it to use right away. So anybody that's coming out and isn't ready to go from the hop, they could be in trouble against this guy. So, Costa's wins aren't the greatest either, but I just think we're going to have two guys coming out, throwing shit right away. And I'll throw a little flyer on the guy with huge power at, round 1 TKO plus 800 is what I got as well.
Yeah, same thoughts here. I really like Randy Costa. I think he has that life-changing power at a lower weight class you just don't see very much. I mean, he is a bantamweight. He's a strong bantamweight, but when was the last time you seen a bantamweight where he has 6 wins all in the first round, 46 seconds, 11 seconds, a minute 11, 42 seconds, longest fight of his career that he won, 2 minutes, 15 seconds, and then 41 seconds in his last fight. The longest win of his career was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So this isn't a guy who's has big power, but he waits end of first round, maybe early second. The bell rings and he is headhunting instantly, which we talked earlier about Vieira, where he knows his gas tank bag, so he's extending the fight and doing the wrong thing. Costa just goes out and goes, my best chance of winning is to murder this guy in the first 2 minutes. He knows that. That's his style. And I think in this fight, when you have a more technical striker in Yanez, the best thing you can do is blitz that guy and throw bombs at his face. That is the best thing you can do, because if you try to be in a paced technical striking battle with him, that's how you're going to lose. I don't think this fight hits the ground. If it does, Costa's not going to bring it there. That would be Yanez. And yeah, I point out to the guys this morning, the round 1 knockout prop at plus 900 is what I got it at on DraftKings this morning. Plus 900, and I look at this, he's plus 180 on the money line or so. That if he wins, that's it. If he wins, it's round 1 knockout. And the difference between money line 180 and plus 900 on the round 1 knockout, it seems like kind of a no-brainer if you're going to take a stab on Costa. So we're going to go a little weird this week. This is Munich. We're going with the round 1 knockout plus 900 prop for Munich. We're feeling weird. I love this bet though. If he wins, this is how he wins, and it would be pretty fun to cast a plus 900 in the first couple minutes. So it's Randy Costa here to take it home. And if he wins this fight, I think whoever wins this fight, they're immediately jumping up on one of the top prospects, not only in the division but in the UFC with that kind of power for Costa and that kind of young skill and how he's looking for Yanez. Like, impressive. All right, middleweight division. Nasruddin Imavov versus Ian Heinisch. Chiasson?
It's a weird fight. I don't really have a good read on it. I've never thought Heinisch is good. I feel like he got a bunch of hype by surviving and overtaking gas Brazilians.
Going to Ponderosa High. That's how he got, he got that big rating, legendary status at Ponderosa.
That's true. That is a big deal. So I guess I can't blame him there. But yeah, I mean, he had that nice win against Meerschaert, but Meerschaert can be one-punched, as we've seen from the greatest of all time. Imavov should have beat Phil Hoggs. If he had, that was so bad.
Easy money.
We were all on Hoggs there. We were all on Hoggs there.
Yeah, and we all won our bet. We all won our bet, and then we were so mad at his performance, we all bet against him the next fight, and then he got dominated. Figured out the gas tank, everything. Yeah, best he's ever looked. Yeah.
Absolute idiots.
I know.
Yeah. So I mean, Imavov. I mean, he beat the Beatus kid, and then he couldn't do anything to a zombie Phil Hoggs. I'll pick Heinisch, but I don't want anything to do with this fight.
You don't like Imavov? You love Russians.
He's like French.
What?
I don't like Russians. I don't like.
He's not Russian.
Here.
It sounds Russian.
He is Russian by way of
Imavov. That's Russian. He's Russian. I don't care what it says. He's Russian.
Or is he French by way of Russia?
Yes, that's more what I mean.
Brad, what do you got here?
I don't think this is an easy fight to break down. I don't think it's going to be a good fight either, because as we've seen in the Hoggs fight, even when Imavov hurts guys, he is very easy to just push up against the cage because he's a lanky Russian weakling. So, he really embraced French culture when he moved from Russia to France, because he's like reverse boring. He lets people be boring to him rather than him doing the boring stuff to other people. And I could see a lot of that with Heinisch in this fight. Hard to trust his wrestling, but also, Derek Brunson, Omarion, Kelvin Gastelum, those dudes are pretty good grapplers. Getting out by them and losing to them, which is the bulk of his professional losses, not the worst things in the world. So I think I side with Heinisch here to get a decision and sort of hang on, maybe get a takedown here and there. But I don't know. This line is sort of creeping up a bit, and I'm definitely not comfortable with Heinisch more than plus or minus 150.
Yeah, I actually like Heinisch a good bit here. If you do, look back at his fights in the UFC, he's kind of done what he should have done, right? Like losing to Gastelum, losing to Brunson, beating Meerkat, beating Carlos Jr., beating Mutanch. Akhmedov, I would say, is the one questionable one, but I think he just had a bit of a wrestling deficit. But let's pretend this fella here is French, Imavov. We got a wrestler versus a French guy. That's always been auto bet. If you got a wrestler versus a French guy, you stop breaking the fight down because the wrestler is going to out-wrestle the French guy.
Is Heinisch an actual wrestler?
Yeah.
Dude doesn't get takedowns against anybody that isn't a zombie Brazilian.
Pondo legend.
Frenchman.
Pondo legend.
Yeah, he wrestled. High school wrestler is much better than French national wrestler. And this guy didn't even wrestle. So let's go there. Let's stop. Let's make it easy. I think Heinisch has had a tough road. He's been facing really, really good guys. In his last few fights, he's faced a couple top 5 guys, and Imavov is facing the diabetes. I mean, there's a difference there in opponents. And I think Heinisch, the UFC, thought too much of him after the Shu facing Mutanch win. And I think they just threw him in the deep end too early in his career. I mean, he was 3 fights in his UFC career fighting Derek Brunson. Like, maybe that was a little too much for him. And then after a couple losses, they're like, how about Gastelum? Like, maybe the UFC just hates this kid. But I think this is the fight. I think they gave him a fight now that he should win. He should have a big advantage in the grappling, and I think he does it. I parlayed Heinisch with Julio Arce. I think it was like plus 140. All right, let's move up. Another great fight. This card has some sneaky ones. This card has some sneaky ones. Puna Soriano versus Brendan Allen. You, Sean?
This should be an interesting fight. We all kind of like Brendan Allen, and then he had a couple questionable fights there. The Dawkins fight that was much closer than it should have been after he gassed, and then getting smashed by Sean Strickland. We were kind of questioning if he was actually who we thought he was. Nice sub in his last fight against Roberson. The dude just gets hit a lot more than I would like. And he's fighting a guy that has some pretty big power, so that's a bit scary. I think Brendan Allen can get him down and get a sub and might even make this look easy. It's just it's a bit scary because if he fucks around on the feet, he could get tagged and put out by Soriano, because Soriano, like I said, has big power. I'm going to pick Brendan Allen. I'm looking at sub at like plus 275. It's not terrible. I think if he can survive and get Soriano down, I think he is very, very good on the ground and can probably snatch up a sub fairly easily. It's just a little bit scary with that power and that how much he likes to get hit. So pick is Brendan Allen. You're muted, Lance.
Oh, my bad. Brad, are you surprised that Soriano has passed the gauntlet of Jamie Pickett, Oscar Pijota, and Dusky Toads? That's about the most impressive 3-0 start to a career I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean,
you couldn't handpick 3 tougher fights.
we all thought that Dusky Toads was
terrible, though.
We thought he was all right, but not all right. And I gotta stick with Puna. He was my pick for breakout fighter of the year at middleweight. I think that he's still got good. Like, obviously he hasn't lost or anything yet. He's looked pretty good in his fights. Gets hit a little bit here and there, but has the Hawaiian chin, so not much of a concern in that sense. But I do have a lot of concerns about Brendan Allen. As Sean said, defense non-existent, the cardio not great. The win against Dukakis doesn't look as good as we initially thought it was going to look. Even getting the sub against Roberson, like, Roberson kind of got him that sub rather than Allen getting the sub. So I have lowered my opinion of Brendan Allen over the past
Kevin
couple
Holland,
years.
though, the GOAT, main event GOAT, Kevin Holland.
Absolutely, yeah. So I like Puna here. I think that his wrestling is good enough that he is going to keep this on the feet, much like Sean Strickland was able to. And after a while, Allen's either going to tire or just get clipped with something. And I think Puna's going to put him away. So I think round 1 or round 2, Puna clips him and keeps that undefeated record intact. I do have a little bet on the Puma man here. And I know I'm out on an island with you guys, but I like it.
Yeah, don't like Puna here. This guy's been handed a cakewalk. I think they liked him early on. He was on Contender, right? Is that right?
Soriano?
Yeah. Is that where he came from? Right, yeah. And I think they really liked him off. I think they liked him coming off the show. He's Hawaiian. They seem to like that, and they've given him a easy path. I mean, Jamie Pickett, terrible off the show, and then Pichota and Dusky Toads, pretty easy there. And I think when you look at Brendan Allen, yeah, he hasn't faced the best competition, but if Puna beat Dawkins, that'd be the best win of his career. If Puna beat Kevin Holland, that'd be the best win of his career. And I think he's just been a little more Brendan Allen's been a little more tested in his career. And I think the easiest path to victory here is if Allen gets a takedown, I think that's a wrap. I mean, Allen is amazing on the ground, and he goes for finishes, and he gets finishes. Yes, there is worry that if he can't get a takedown, he's going to get absolutely curb stomped. Agreed. I don't think Allen can last in the feet, and I don't think Allen's a guy that's going to go 15 hard. But I do think once this fight hits the ground, I do think Allen usually finds a way to get his fights to the ground. And I'm not ready to put Soriano in the revived career of Sean Strickland. I think those are different guys. Sean Strickland's also a lot bigger. He's tougher to take down. He's stronger. I think it's a little bit different. I like Brendan Allen here. I think Sean Strickland's good, and I think people are looking too much at that loss to see what we thought of Brendan Allen before that. So I like Brendan Allen kind of to get him down pretty quickly, dominate, and get a finish.
The only people Brendan Allen has taken down in his UFC career are Carl Roberson and Kevin Holland.
Those are great.
Elite takedown defense. Elite out of those two.
Kevin Holland has elite takedown defense. We've seen it time and time again.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, he finds a way, Brad. He finds a way.
I hope for your sake that he does.
Yep. Here we go. Welterweight division, Mickey Gall versus the diabetes, Jordan Williams.
Insulin kid.
Now, did you see how? Well, you know how the whole thing with him has always been he can't go down to 170 because of the diabetes. Yep. Apparently, did you read how he got through this to be able to cut?
No.
Stem cells.
Cut off a leg.
He's injecting himself with stem cells, which apparently help him with his blood sugar regulation.
That seems illegal.
Doesn't seem legal.
Yeah, and Greg Hardy can't even use an inhaler? Bullshit.
Yeah. TJ Dillashaw can't even use EPO.
Steroids.
Yeah, what the fuck?
This dude can use stem cells.
We can't even use anabolic steroids, but this guy can use stem cells?
This guy's garbage. Huffing adrenochrome in the corner between rounds, and we can't even use steroids. You can't even smoke the weed.
This is not fair. All right, let's do Sean. What do you got here?
I want to bet Mickey Gall, but holy shit, man. It's in hindsight, his 2 losses in his last 3 fights are fucking bad.
What, Diego and Perry? What are you talking about? What?
Oh, think about that in 2021 right now. Oh my god. Could I see Mickey Gall getting laid on by the insulin kid? I honestly could. I don't know if the insulin kid is going to make this weight, and maybe it's going to cause him to gas.
Oh, he's going to gas. This is his first time ever cutting weight in his life.
Yep. That's true. It's
because of the diabetes.
That number is big. Like, I know Mickey Gall is not good, and his wins are very unimpressive, but we all think that Jordan Williams is just, he's not good. Like, on top of just, like, not being able to cut weight, he's just not good.
He's one of those guys that lacks skill and talent, and everyone loves him because he's got heart and guts.
Yep.
If your number one quality is heart and guts, that means you are terrible and you lack in all skills and all facets of the game.
Yep. But it still might be enough because Mickey Gall is terrible, can get out-wrestled by mostly everyone, and has terrible striking. So I'll pick Gall. If I'm feeling really degenerate, I might throw a small bet on him.
Brett, who are you going to pick in the Logan Paul versus Anderson Silva fight that was just announced?
Obviously, Anderson.
Anderson's not going to take it easy on him like old Floyd did.
He's going to light that fucking dude up if that fight
Anderson in that boxing match the last time, like, he looked like legit.
Yep.
He might kill this poor kid.
He's going to light this dude up.
I love the Paul brothers.
Anderson's going to make TikTok videos in between rounds just making fun of this goof.
I love
He's
Logan
on
Paul.
all of the blue tie pills.
Yeah. Logan Paul's great. Jake Paul's a complete douche, but I like Logan Paul.
I like that Jake Paul just like he doesn't actually care about UFC fighters, but I love that he has made his life goal to make Dana White's life just an absolute misery.
I wish Logan would actually stop with the boxing stuff and try MMA. He was like a pretty good wrestler.
Yeah.
That seems like a poor idea. I would rather make way more money in boxing and fight nobodies.
If he wanted to do a fight in the UFC, I bet the UFC could get him $10 million. I mean, they just paid Poirier apparently $10 million, and he hasn't.
They did not pay Poirier $10 million.
He couldn't draw a picture. So I don't know. Like, if you got Logan Paul just bang with Mike Perry, why not? I mean, he was a wrestler from Ohio. Like, they got good wrestling there. I don't know what to say. All right,
Brad. The Insulin Kid is going to gas in this fight, and I think Mickey Gall's going to take over. Mickey Gall with his stellar get taken down by Diego Sanchez a million times, get out grappled by Mike Perry. He might struggle.
He's got heart.
On.
He's got guts.
Well, that's the thing. He's not just going to get knocked out. We've seen that he can take a punch. So Insulin Kid's going to punch him a bunch of times in the first round. Then he's going to be like, oh, shit, man, I should have been at 182 or whatever he comes into his fights normally at, instead of cutting all the way down to 170. And he's going to hate his life in the second and third rounds. Mickey Gall's going to take over. And I think we get a third round sub from old Mickey Gall.
What's round 3?
This one.
What's round 3, Brad?
It's 16 in this one. It should be higher.
What's Gall's sub?
I think it's like 5 or 6. Gall sub 525.
That's not terrible.
Yeah. No,
terrible.
I don't hate that. So
that's his path to victory.
Yeah, I like Mickey Gall here. I hate that I do. I was joking this morning. We were talking about the fights, like in texting back and forth, and I was like, I want to bet Mickey Gall, but I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And then Brad was like, yeah, me too. And so I was like, me too. I was like, well, I guess I should bet him. Like, if we all like him, we don't want to bet him. That means we should probably just go ahead and bet him. I think he can drag this fight to the ground. I think even at 170, I think he's going to be the bigger guy. I think Jordan Williams is really going to struggle, because even if Jordan Williams, like if he walks around at 182 and he's going to 170, that's still small for 170. Like yes. that is a small 170. Mickey Gall is probably cutting from 190, 195. So Jordan Williams, even at 170, is going to be undersized, except now he's not going to have, his normal, cardio advantage, speed advantage, that kind of stuff. And I think Mickey Gall he knows he has to win this fight. I think he's going to be clinching against the cage, pushing him up. He's a lot taller, isn't he? Like Jordan Williams is not very tall either. I think he's going to just push him against the cage, ride him out, try to get some body lock takedowns. I think if he gets on top, he can land some good ground and pound and possibly even get a sub there. I like Mickey Gall. I think at plus 150. I think Mickey Gall sucks. Yes, he's not good at all, but the diabetes. He's cutting weight. I mean,
Beat cutting weight.
I don't know how.
Mickey Gall is 1 inch taller.
He seems taller, doesn't he?
Oh, okay.
Maybe he just it's his lankiness.
Yeah, he's a weirdly like torso long guy.
Yeah,
he is. I thought he would be taller. Anyway, I like Gall here. I think he can make this ugly, drag him down, and get the W. And that's the end of the beatus. No more beatus. All right. Women's flyweight division: Miranda Maverick, Macy Barber. This Barber chick just keeps getting main cards. She's terrible. She's awful.
It's Macy, the future Barber.
Oh,
yeah, you're reading it wrong.
Hair after this,
exactly. So fear the future hairstylist. That's what we got going on here.
Oh my
Brutus Barber beefcake.
I have no idea what's gonna happen here.
Yeah, but who cares?
That's as well. Like Barber talked a big game. Everybody hyped her up, and she is not good. Maverick might also be getting that treatment as well. I mean, the people that she beat are not good. I'll pick Maverick. I think she has more ways to win. She's okay on the feet. She can take Barber down. Barber is pretty much done if she's on her back. So yeah, Maverick, but don't care.
So I don't remember who it was. It was on Twitter, and Maverick made a comment or something about how this is good matchmaking, but it's not, and acted like these were two top tier prospects, and it's too early in their career to fight. Which I got obviously pretty good chuckle. Barber's lost 2 in a row. Who are these people? And then someone made the comparison to Phil Davis and Alex Gustafsson fighting early in their careers to these two. And I was like, I'm trying to think.
Spot the difference.
I'm trying to think of a worse compare. This is kind of like Alex Gustafsson versus Phil Davis. If they suck. Sean, did you guys see this on Twitter? Was this just me who saw this?
I think I just saw you talking about it, or maybe I saw it on
I didn't
Twitter,
talk about it. I read it, I chuckled to myself, and then I moved on.
All right, I think somebody else was commenting on it or
out.
something like that. That is.
Oh no, it was the guy we like. It was Paul Shaw. It was Paul Shag.
Oh no!
Oh no, Paulie!
Come on, Paul.
That's
You're
why I
better
didn't
than
respond
that.
because I like him.
Yeah,
That is a bad take.
Yeah, that's okay. He was due for one.
You guys are pretty good friends with him. You should probably say something.
I will.
He's got to
Now
eat
that
that
I know
one.
it exists.
It says, people said the same thing in the day when they matched up Gustafsson and Phil Davis. Nobody has a crystal ball. Bob, if they go on story careers, money's in the Nope, none of that.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
How much money did that Gustafsson-Phil Davis rematch make?
Did they rematch? I didn't remember the first one.
Yeah.
When I read that, I was like, I don't recall them fighting. We love you, Paul. All right, where are we at here? Brad, do you have anything on this fight?
I know Sean said he doesn't know what's going to happen. I know one thing that's going to happen.
Over?
Macy Barber is going to throw at least one combination from 10 feet away from her opponent.
I mean, that was like minus 10,000, Brad. Don't go on a limb here. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
There was this thing the other day, and someone had said, like, what is the most amazing moment of 2021 in MMA? Someone tweeted this picture of Macy Barber, like, literally 10 feet away, shadow boxing in the cage. So good. Like, this is the most amazing moment of 2021.
and now she's training at Alpha Male or Team Alpha person team.
That's she's gonna pull guarding for guillotines. No, what you do is
I just realized that now that they're Team Alpha person, the acronym is TAP.
Hold on, did they actually change their name to Team Alpha person?
That makes sense.
I don't know. It seems like something they would do.
It's 2021,
It
man.
is California too.
Yeah, that's
it.
No, this is it's bad.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this fight, but I told Sean the other day. So I was playing golf the other day, and I was on the range right before my round, just hitting a couple balls, hitting my driver, and so I take a normal swing. This driver's probably a year and a half old. I take a normal swing with my driver, swing through the ball, snaps in half, and the club head goes like 10 yards away.
Oh, steroids.
Like, how far down the shaft are we talking this snappage?
You need to do some stem cells instead of steroids, man.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
Coming.
Those forearms that Lance has are just, oh my god! Look what those forearms did to a year and a half old driver. That poor thing.
I googled it and I was like, is there something going on here? How does this happen? And then what I came back with is, because I use I just use regular flex. Maybe I should use stiff, but yes. I don't have big club speed. I'm not I don't have crazy swing speed or anything. And basically, if you rate anything, it's like 95% of people should use regular shaft, but 50% decide they want to use stiff just because. But is it this? Is that what's causing this? Even though my speed isn't crazy, is it because my arms are stronger than the average male. You think that's what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Those poor clubs.
Dude, look at this. It snapped right in half. It snapped, so it broke before contact with the ball, which means me just going through snapped the shaft in half. This is a year, and this driver's like not even 2 years old, and it's a nice driver. It was the Mizuno JPX.
You can replace that. You could just put a new
Was there
shaft
anybody
in that,
there?
right? You buy a new
laughing?
fucking driver.
Well, I didn't love it, so I was like, I should probably just buy a Sim Max driver. So I got a Sim
Was there
Max
anybody
driver.
like the club went further than the ball?
Oh,
No, I was
course.
just with my dad at this point because we had just got there and we were at the range hitting some balls, and
that wasn't a Barry joke. I thought Barry would have pulled some of those.
he was more in shock because you don't see very often someone swing their driver in the club. Just like when you see that happen, it's usually if someone like smashes it.
Yeah.
Mine was like just a regular swing on the range and the thing goes flying. So I walk out there, there's like 10 people on the range, and I just like pick it up and put it in my bag. Yeah.
You should have you told the company about it?
Mizuno, they're pretty big. I don't think they care.
No, but like you probably get like a refund or a new club or something like that.
They would probably offer to replace the shaft, and then I could probably sell the driver for whatever. But I didn't. I've had this for a couple of years. I didn't love it anyway. I have Sim Max irons and a Sim Max 3-wood, and I love them all. So
You're
I'm
angling
not
for the sponsorship now.
I know I'm a TaylorMade guy. I'm completely sponsored. And funny enough, I didn't use my driver for the full 18 holes. I just used a 3-wood. Played great. So maybe maybe no one should use a driver, and you should just bomb 3-woods in the fairway. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
But there's no fun in that.
Mm-mm.
Oh, good shaft talk. That was much
really,
better than breaking
really
down
good.
that fight.
I mean, you just got to hit dingers when you're on the golf course. I told my buddy the other day I'm going to call my new driver a dinger launcher. I think that should catch on. Instead of a driver, just a dinger launcher. That's a pretty good name for it.
Solid.
Just saying. All right. I got nothing on this fight. Who gives a shit? But great fight. Featherweight. The fucking damage. Darren Elkins. Derek Minner. I dig this fight. You, Sean? Perfect fight.
Yeah, this is a good stylistic matchup. I think James Krause is a very good coach, but I don't know. Like, yes, Minner has been better. He's not doing the dumb shit that he did in the past, but he's also been in some fairly decent matchups in his last couple. I think Elkins, he has pretty good sub defense. I know he's lost. I think the only one was it Dubronx that subbed him? Yeah, the armbar. That's the only guy that subbed him. So that's not bad for a very, very long career. Yeah. So I think Elkins can get Minner down, can wear him out. I'm not convinced that Minner's cardio is just completely fixed and stuff like that. Like I think it's a decent matchup for Elkins. So I expect him to wrestle. It might be a little sketchy early, but dude has a motor. He still takes people down. This is a decent matchup. It's hilarious to say in 2021 that I think Elkins is the side in this fight.
Brad?
Yeah, it's like Sean said, I don't think the cardio problems from Minner are solved. It is very easy to lay on top of a guy who is throwing completely ineffective Hail Mary subs for 15 minutes without getting tired. That's not a thing that is going to tire any professional fighter out. However, when you've got a dude like Darren Elkins and you're trying to take him down, or he's trying to take you down, and you're doing that for the better part of 15 minutes, you're absolutely going to get tired. So I think that sorry, we're dog sitting for a dog, and she's the dumbest dog ever. She doesn't go up the stairs to the bedroom. She'll come down the stairs in the morning, but we have to like chase her around the house to pick her up, to carry her upstairs because she's stupid. So wow. she can just sleep downstairs. Anyway, because Darren Elkins is going to grapple the shit out of him, or Minner's going to try and grapple him, and Elkins is going to make that tire him out. And either he wins rounds 2 and 3, again, might win round 1 as well because he's the better wrestler in this fight, or I could see Minner gassing, and we've seen him get stopped by a lot worse guys than Darren Elkins in his career. So could see a late Elkins stoppage here as well. We saw it in his last fight, could see it again, but either way, like Elkins to pull through.
I like Elkins here. I think Elkins struggles with guys who have, a large wrestling advantage over him, where he can't kind of dictate. I think Elkins is the better wrestler here. I think he's the much better wrestler here, actually. I think he's just a better wrestler, a better MMA wrestler. And I think the jiu-jitsu-wise, Minner's one of those guys who he has great submissions and he can finish anyone in the submission game. He also likes to quit and get submitted himself. He's cool with that. He's one of those guys that when he gets tired, quits. It's over. You're not that skilled in jiu-jitsu and be subbed 8 times unless you quit. You just aren't. It's not something that goes together. You can't be that good offensively and that bad defensively, which means he's a quitter. Elkins brings pressure, even at this age, and he's 38 now, something like that. Elkins brings pressure, constant pressure, 24/7, the whole fight. Put pressure. He's going to wrestle. He's going to push him against the cage. And I think on the feet, is Elkins a better striker?
I think he is, and I also think it doesn't matter because there's going to be no space in this fight.
No, it's going to be a typical Elkins fight. And how often, if you think about it, you could make an argument that Elkins is a better striker and a better grappler in this fight.
Yeah.
You can make that argument. And I think straight jiu-jitsu, yes, Minner's probably better. Wrestling, I think it's Elkins. And overall grappling, I think it's Elkins because he's going to control this. Minner's not going to sub Elkins from his back, and I don't think he gets a chance to be on top. So I like Darren Elkins here. I think this is a great matchup. When we talked about these aging veterans giving him winnable fights, this is the one I'm talking about. You need to give these 37, 38-year-old guys who've been in the UFC forever, and you need to give them fights like this. And I like Darren Elkins here, and I think it's a good opportunity for Minner because if he does beat Darren Elkins, that's a good win, even at the late age for Darren Elkins. So this is the consensus bet of the week. Darren Elkins, the damage. Man,
I still can't believe he's a dog in this fight.
He's just the best dude ever. All right, bantamweight division, Kyler Phillips versus Rulian Paiva.
Howlian.
All right,
Howlian.
Not going to work here anymore.
Kyler Phillips is very, very good.
So good. Dreamy.
It's kind of a weird fight. I'm not sure why they gave him Paiva after he beat Song Yudong. I know Song Yudong isn't some big name, but that was a good win, and now he gets a blown
downgrade
flyweight who can't make weight.
Yeah, this is a downgrade. I think they're protecting this kid. I think they like this kid a lot, and they want to slow roll him.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just like a keep busy fight. I'm not too sure the matchmaking here, but
hold on, I just read it. He was supposed to fight Sun Sao,
but that's been canceled for a little while, hasn't it?
3 weeks. So this is a 3-week notice fight. That makes a little more sense. He would have beat God. What kind of line would we have got on him versus a Sun Sao?
It would have been good.
He would have beat the piss and shit out of him.
Yeah.
We would have got a good line on it, though, because a Sun Sao is one of those even though he's ancient at this point, he's one of those tricky dudes.
He doesn't want to fight in a long time, though. I thought
it just sucks because if Phillips styles on Paiva, it's probably going to be a smaller number if they do, even if it is completely it's Paiva. Phillips is good, man. He's good on the feet. He can take people down. I think he is gonna smash Paiva. I thought Paiva was decent, but dude can't make weight. I know he's fought at 135 earlier in his career, but this guy should be a 125er if he could cut weight properly. I think the size difference is going to be pretty big. I think Phillips can get him down and smash him on the ground. I kind of see Phillips getting a finish, possibly in the second, maybe in the third. So I like Phillips. I'm gonna put him in a parlay. I'll probably take him inside the distance small as well.
Brad?
Yeah, this is some kind of punishment for Paiva because that was only the first time he missed. That was only the first time he missed weight too, and now they're like, okay, we're gonna bump you up and we're gonna put you against maybe the best prospect in the bantamweight division. I think Paiva's good, but he's a good flyweight, and I think he's probably going to get the shit kicked out of him in this fight. We saw, a lot of people run Yadong in the last fight, and I know that we like Paiva there, or not Paiva, we like Phillips there, and came through, and I think a lot of people started to see what we see, that he's just got a really well-rounded game. His striking looked better than it ever had in that game, and he's already got the grappling, aggressive grappling, which is always nice to see to go along with it. And really, I just think he's going to be able to control Paiva. Even if he struggles on the feet at some point, which I don't really see in this spot, he's going to be able to body up Paiva, take him down. I think he can probably tire him out throughout this fight, and it's just going to sort of snowball as it goes. So not entirely sure he gets a finish because, as I said, Paiva is good. He seems pretty tough. His only stoppage is that cut stoppage to bone tearing. But I do like Phillips to come away with a clear win in this one.
Yeah, this does seem like punishment. You lose a couple close fights. There was a cut, and then he loses a really close fight to France. Wins a couple fights, misses weight once, and then he has to go to 135 and face got it. That's just fucked up. And Phillips is gonna be a lot bigger, and with his style, I think the size matters. He has some decent striking, but he has that wrestling, he has the grappling. He's gonna grind it out. He's gonna get you down, and then be aggressive with ground and pound. And he is very aggressive for a guy who can definitely wrestle. And he was a California wrestler, and pretty good jiu-jitsu to go with it as well. He's very well-rounded. I don't know. I love this kid. Like, after I watched him the last fight, I was like, I know he hasn't faced the best competition. Like, Yadong, I thought was a good win earlier in your UFC career. And he's only like 25 years old. But this guy seems like he's good. Like, he seems like he has what it takes. He has all the tools to kind of move up pretty quickly. And I think after this one, if he does what he's supposed to here, I think we're going to see a pretty big step up after beating, Paiva and Yadong back-to-back. And yeah, I love Phillips here. I think the line was like minus 250, something like that, or 300. It wasn't high. Minus 260. I don't know. I feel like I thought this one would be around minus 400 or so with the size and everything else that goes with it. And I think Phillips has an advantage everywhere. So, like Phillips here, I'll have him in a parlay. All right. That's the co-main. Is that the co-main?
That is the co-main event of the night.
All right, let's just break this one down real quick. So we got Aspen Ladd, who, let's see, hasn't she sucked. Yeah, she hasn't fought in a year and a half, and she lost to Jermaine Durandame, who was 48 years old. And then we have
16 seconds.
And then we have Macy Chiasson, who lost to Lena Landsberg. And this is the co-main. The sad thing about this is, like, whatever, if they wanted to put this in the main card because Aspen Ladd, whatever it is, but, like, how can you put Soriano and Brennan Allen, Costa and Yanez, like, those are, like, actual, like, Costa Yanez is a co-main event. I wouldn't complain 1 second about that. This is where I don't get the shit. Like, why are they not hyping these guys up? Because don't forget, a lot of fans who don't watch, we watch the full cards. Well, I do. Me and Sean watch the full cards. If you think of some fans, some like casuals and people that just catch in, right? They might only watch the last 2 or 3 fights, right? They might not. If the event starts at 8 and they know there's 5 fights, they think it's in order of greatness, and they will not watch the first fight. Well, the first fight's the best fight in the card. Sorry. And that's where I think that the UFC is missing opportunities here. But anyway, I have no
Lance, this is number 3 versus number 10 in the division. This is a fucking big fight.
Which one's which?
No, Lance is right. Diana Belbita and Hannah Goldy is the best fight on the card.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Correct.
It's a low-key banger.
I got nothing. I got nothing on this. I don't. I didn't even look at the line. Is Aspen Ladd favored?
Yeah. Like minus 180, minus 200.
She grunts a lot.
Figo's decision, minus 145. I know Aspen Ladd finishes a lot, but fuck, I think after her ACL surgery, I think she might be a little more tentative. Chiasson can kind of take it. I think.
Speaking of taking it, Aspen Ladd's mom has an OnlyFans account.
Does she? Nice.
Interesting.
I saw that our boy Water Show called dibs on her mom. Yeah. So
did you see her?
Yeah, I haven't. I was going to look her up after I saw that.
Let's just say there's not a lot of resemblance from mother to daughter.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Really, that's the opposite of what you really want to do there. Yeah, you should look her up.
I will.
Maybe purchase the subscription.
Yeah, she got her dad's genes, and that's just sad. Wow.
Did you? Oh, you found a picture?
Couple.
Were they pretty solid?
They're pretty solid.
Yeah, they look more.
It's kind of weird.
They look more like
looks
sister.
Young. She looks young. Like it almost looks like her sister.
Also, she is in way better shape than Aspen. Like not even close.
Well, yeah,
like,
she has an OnlyFans. She's got to keep in real shape. She actually gets paid real money to do that, not like fighting.
She has the money versus Aspen does not. Like if you look at a lot of these pictures, just the two of them, like you might think sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I just thought I'd let you guys know.
That's a hot tip. Thanks, Lance.
We should have had Water Show on the show tonight. He would have totally joined.
He probably would.
He said anytime we need somebody to join the show, he's down. So I'm going to hold him to that.
We really messed up here.
I mean,
next time,
Wes is going to be missing shows frequently now.
Yeah, how funny does Wes saying I'll be on next week? It's like, dude,
good luck telling wifey that.
Yeah, it's like when he was doing it, he would just feel bad the entire time. Because the first couple months is basically just pure misery.
Oh yeah,
kind of the best way to describe it. So if he thinks he's gonna hop down and do the podcast and drink some beers for a couple hours, he's not thinking right. You gotta wait till they're old. My kid, like they're watching TV, Netflix, YouTube, whatever. It's not a big deal, but yeah, it's different when they're young.
So I've never actually seen either of these two fight in the UFC.
That seems impossible.
That does seem pretty.
That seems impossible.
No,
I know you like to take the walks, but
Aspen Ladd's entire UFC career has been either when I haven't been watching UFC or I've definitely specifically taken a dog walk.
They have 11 combined UFC fights in the last 5 years.
Yep.
That seems impossible.
Yeah, but only Chase, there's only been one since Brad started watching fights again.
You haven't seen Chiasson? I feel like you would have seen her.
No, because she's only fought once since the pandemic started. She fought right before it started, which Brad wasn't watching it now.
Did you not watch Tough Heavy Hitters?
It's
starring the women's bantamweight. Tough Heavy Hitters, starring the women's bantamweight division.
I'm not watching this season of Tough.
Yeah,
I watched 4 or 5 episodes because I was like, screw it. I've watched everything on television the last 2 years. I'm out of things, and I can't get myself to watch anymore. It's like if they just released a 2-hour show of just the fights, I'd probably watch it. But man, it's so bad. The fake and they got the 2 most boring humans in the UFC.
Yes, minor detail.
Yep.
So I've got nothing on this fight. If I end up watching it, this will be new territory, virgin territory for me. Unlike Aspen Ladd's mom.
Basking in the co-main event.
True that. What's her mom's name?
It doesn't matter. Just type in Aspen Ladd mom.
That's what I typed.
Yeah. Kimberly Ladd.
There you go.
That sounds like a porn name.
Kimberly Ladd. Ladd. Yeah, you can do that. I got nothing on this fight. We can go
we're here.
We can go to the main event. Bantamweight division, Cory Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. You, Sean?
Great fight. Cory Sandhagen is very, very fucking good. I tried to save Lance some money last time out. He's stubborn in his old ways. It doesn't matter, but that was vicious. Sandhagen is good everywhere. He has unorthodox striking. It's very, very elite.
How's his wrestling?
His wrestling is rough. His wrestling is a struggle. He can definitely been taken down, as we've seen in his UFC career. His bottom game isn't terrible. I think TJ Dillashaw.
Is he a power bottom?
Nobody is that good.
Her Twitter is Gypsy Chick.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Where's this fans at?
If in my opinion, Dillashaw needs to wrestle in this fight because yes, Dillashaw has good striking. I just think Sandhagen's is better. He's longer. Dillashaw can be clipped. We've seen it happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sandhagen's able to touch him. If Dillashaw wrestles, he'll probably get Sandhagen down a couple times, maybe even for a couple rounds. After that, I think Dillashaw is going to gas. His cardio has been awesome in the past. How much of that was the EPO? We're going to find out because if he consistently wrestles for more than 2-3 rounds, I think he is going to be a heaping pile, and Sandhagen's going to absolutely light him up on the feet. So I'm going to have Sandhagen in a big parlay with Phillips, and I'll probably be looking at Sandhagen inside.
Bradley?
Yeah, TJ Dillashaw has fought 4 times in the last 5 years, and in his 5 times. No, 4 times. 4 times in the last 5 years. And in the last 3 of those fights, he has gotten clipped pretty hard. Obviously knocked out last time out. Very quickly rocked against Garbrandt in both those fights, and against Johnny fucking Lineker, he was justifiably terrified. And even with Lineker breaking his jaw in that fight, couldn't get him out of there, couldn't even come close to getting him out of there. So it's going to be interesting because if this stays on the feet, he is going to get rocked by Sandhagen. And as Sean said, he can probably take the giant lanky ginger down, but can he take him down for 25 minutes? Probably not. Can he take him down for 15 minutes and survive the last 10? Maybe, but probably not. So I just think it's going to come down to the fact that at some point, Dillashaw is A, 35, B, not on the good stuff anymore. Or, maybe he found some better stuff, but he hasn't been getting paid lately, so that
doesn't look like it based on his appearance.
He looks pretty ragged. So yeah, I think that Sandhagen is probably gonna piece him up a little bit in this fight. If there's one guy that can sort of read those patterns that Dillashaw has in terms of doing the kind of Dominic Cruz but with a little bit more power thing that Dillashaw does, I think Sandhagen can interrupt him in some of that stuff and intercept him as he's coming in or switching stances or all of those things that leave him more open than you would normally want your fighter to be defensively. Oh, there goes Sean.
Can't blame him.
I think that Sandhagen's that guy. So as much as I don't like tall gingers, I got to side with Sandhagen on this one.
Yeah, I am not a Sandhagen guy. I think everyone knows that. Not a fan. Don't love the old Cory Sandhagen, but I love him in this matchup. I think. Hey, when was the last time we saw Dillashaw just wrestling game plan? Like he hasn't done a wrestling heavy game plan in a while.
A little bit against Lineker.
So I was about to bring that up. The last person that TJ Dillashaw beat that wasn't named Cody Garbrandt was 5 years ago. That's crazy. Like it was 2016 when he fought Lineker, and that was the last guy that he beat that wasn't named Cody Garbrandt. And man, Cory Sandhagen, much as I hate him, he is a difficult matchup because he is very hard to hold down. Easy to get down, hard to hold down. I don't think Dillashaw's cardio is going to be there. First fight in several years. Coming off getting – he probably thinks about it every day still, even though it was a couple years ago, that Henry Cejudo knockout. And I just don't think this is the same guy. He looked old. It wasn't as much his body to me. His face looked old. he looked like an old ass dude. Like he looked much older than me. Like he looked worn. He looked like he had like done some time. Like some
just
hard
sounds
time.
like he's trying to make up excuses for everything.
And I think he's going to press. I think he is going – I don't think he's going to wrestle a second. I think he's going to try to take Sandhagen's head off. I think he's frustrated. He's pressing, and he knows he wants to get a big win. He wants to finish this guy. Because if he does finish Cory Sandhagen, he probably will get the next title shot. Let's be real. If I big Aljo guy, always have been. About done with Aljo at this point. Completely done with this fella. What the fuck? Anyway, like – whoever wins this fight, I think we're going to see get the next title shot, and I think that's going to be Cory Sandhagen. So I do have him in a parlay. Really like him here. So that'll do it this week. Quicker show than normal, which is probably good. You guys are probably sick of us at this point. I can't wait to come back next week and talk about this card coming up. We might be able to break down the whole card in like 15 minutes. We'll see if we can kind of set a record.
New record.
Yeah, these cards lately, they've been making for quick shows. That's the one positive to the UFC.
Ladies always tend to bring it. Everyone knows that. So thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next week.